Um, he was talking. They were some sort of interview, some sort of panel, and there's a clip of it on YouTube, and I think I saw it on the Young Turks, and he was questioning a representative, I believe, of the insurance companies, health insurance companies, and man, he just had her, with the facts, where she was talking about, they made an assertion that if they go with a public option or universal health care, that'll cause more bankruptcies. And he asked her, he says, how many people have suffered bankruptcies in Switzerland due to health costs? She didn't know. He said 0. He went on to another country. She didn't know. She said 0. And then she tried to use, this went on for about 3 times. She didn't know. The answer was 0. And boy, you could tell this woman was getting flustered. And, it just occurred to me, there was something I didn't prepare for. Oh well, we'll just wing it. So anyway, it comes near the end, and she tries to throw this red herring out there about how we have a better survival rate for cancer than these other countries. But what it is, it's nitpicking the statistics. And, everybody knows on both sides, right and left, both sides do it. They can manipulate statistics to their best advantage. And, but Al Franken pointed out is that in America, they include a lot of easily survivable types of cancer, whereas in Europe they don't include those in their statistics. I'm talking about like non-melanoma skin cancer being removed. The Americans count that, check that off in their category. Very survivable forms of cancer, and that sort of cooks the books a little bit. That Al Franken, man, that guy is sharp. I'm so glad he's our senator. I'm so glad he's a senator. I live in California, and he's a senator from Minnesota. But I'm so glad. He squeaked by, and he's there. It was really, really good. It was really, really a pleasure to see him. A former comedian, a joke writer, and the man is brilliant. Hey, I sort of turned things around. I talked a little bit about politics in the beginning. I don't know why it made me think of that. And it's maybe because I thought of Tina Fey, Al Franken. I don't know, Saturday Night Live. There's a connection there somewhere. Anyway, I'm hoping I can remember that girl's name. I wanted to say her name, but I was thinking I would get it wrong. Young woman. Oh, too young for me. Anyway, forget about it. Forget about it, citizenkong. Hey, I felt good for a little while. I was like, oh, the possibilities. All right, so let me talk a little bit about some of you that saw it in the middle of the week that I was uploading a citizenkong video from a different location. Yes, Cyber9 Rounder, Timmy, invited me over for lunch, and I really had a good time. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This guy makes me nervous. There's stuff about him in the real world. You don't want to mess with him. Now that I consider him my friend, and I believe he considers me his friend, it's too late. There's no backing out. No, I'm just kidding. But in his world, friendship has some real. It's a binding contract. Let's just put it that way. All right then. But I had a wonderful time over there, and I got to experience the joys and the pitfalls of direct uploading. And I had a really good time. I almost talked myself out. I try not to wear out my welcome, even though they keep joking about that. And granted, like when he keeps saying that I called him and asked to come over, no, I don't do that. He's joking with you. But boy, this has caused a lot of stir, this business of my visit over there. There's a lot of people saying things, unkind things, making assumptions, and just being catty and vicious. Look, there's some things that I've had to change, okay, because of this. But because Tim lived in my town, I don't know. I just became fixed on the idea that I would gain his trust and meet him. And for those that go way back on YouTube, that know Cyber9 from the beginnings of YouTube, I don't know how many of you out there watch Fez Night, but I've heard things about, and there's stuff on Encyclopedia Dramatica about him. A guy named Jason Speaks, and an encounter at a car show in the reel, and so you might, I don't know, people might want to pay attention to that stuff. All I know is that he treated me with kindness, and he doesn't let. And it's good policy. He doesn't even give out his email. He doesn't let anybody get close to him. So I don't know. Here's to me never doing anything that'll upset him. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure I can upset him a little bit, but no, he knows he can trust me. I can trust him, even though he still makes me nervous. Yeah, and there's some other stuff that I wasn't happy about, but I had to do what I had to do. I feel I was doing the right thing, and it might make me look bad on YouTube. There are people saying bad things about me because of my decision, but whether this person realizes it or not, I was looking out for his interests. Okay? The high school I went to, I mean, it was a long time ago, but the high school I went to was a kind of tough school, and I was lucky that I was able to, somewhat be popular enough, not like super popular, but I was in student government. Some people knew who I was. I mean, I'm a ham for attention. There was only a couple times where I thought I was going to get my ass kicked by somebody. I mean, seriously, like, you better watch out. He'll see you after school, or see you in the parking lot. But at my school, there was a guy stabbed and killed in the parking lot at my school. And it's mostly Hispanic, a very small, what you'd call Anglo white population at that school, probably 10-20% at the most, but it was probably more like 60% Hispanic. There were more Filipinos at my high school than there were Caucasians. So that's kind of how it went, and so I've experienced the gang mentality before, and it's been years and years, but it's not that foreign to me, and for some of these people, that's how they've survived, by sticking to a code, a sort of thing, like careful who you talk to, and don't rat out the wrong person.